This show needs an intro, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't need an intro because usually it starts with you saying, "You're all right."
All right.
I'm all right. All right. I hate the way you say it as well.
Why?
Just pronunciation
Are
of
you
it.
not all right?
All right. Well,
All right.
sound like a parrot.
Like a parrot.
Don't parrots sound a bit like that? All right.
You ever known a parrot?
Yeah, I actually did know someone that had a parrot actually in my younger years.
What was it called?
Freaked me out a little bit though.
Why?
Parrots are a bit strange.
They talk, but they don't. I don't think, at least. I don't think they like formulate sentences like humans do. I think they just
They mimic.
repeat shit that they've heard. Yeah.
They're snitches though, innit?
Well, yeah, probably
Inherently.
because they're just repeating what they heard. Anyway. Oh, last night was a barrel of laughs, wasn't it?
I literally tweeted out, it's the hope that kills. It literally is the hope that kills.
Look,
Like,
Harry Maguire's getting a bit of a kick in today, and he deserves it. I'm going to be real.
do you know what? Sometimes you feel like, is the criticism a bit harsh? Are we piling it on? But it's all so justified. Anyway, because when you play for Man United anyway, you are signing up for scrutiny. It's arguably the biggest club in the world. The shirt carries a lot of weight. And unfortunately, there's a lot of players in the squad that are struggling with the kind of the weight of the shirt anyway, but I think Harry Maguire being skipper, he's just not cut out for it. And it's not even like it's a small sample size either. It's like he has one good game, and his good games now are just not fucking up. Is a good game for him.
It's like when Phil Jones came in and didn't completely burn the house down, and everyone was like, he did well, didn't he? Because you expected him to burn the house down.
Yeah, there's a bit of Maguire, Phil Jones. People are saying there's a bit of a comparison with their trajectories going on, but obviously Phil Jones didn't cost 80 million. Do you know what? People are saying it's not his fault for the price tag, but I just can't get past it.
No, but it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, no, okay, you didn't buy yourself. You didn't set your own price. But ultimately now you do have to live with that price. You do. That's the nature of the beast. You also have to live with the fact that you're probably getting paid £200 a week. It's probably easier to work with.
And I know what irks you the most and what's irking a lot of people about Maguire is it's the fact that he makes the errors, but it's the lack of accountability that he always shows.
And it ain't just to talk about lack of accountability, because I often think if you see someone accountable for their mistakes, you can usually rely on that person to work on fixing those mistakes. Now, they don't owe every single time they make a mistake. A player doesn't need to come out and say, listen, I did that wrong and I will work on it. You don't need to say that. But it doesn't feel like he feels like he's responsible. He doesn't feel like the way he comes out and deflects isn't someone just saying things. I think he believes them. And I also think he believes he's not responsible for some of the fuck-ups that he made. When you look at how he tried to justify the non-tackle, watched it back only about 37 times this morning.
I watched it as well. Just before I came on, I actually saw a compilation on Twitter of all the errors. I saw something that suggests that he's responsible directly in terms of errors for 10 goals United have conceded this season.
I could buy that.
Which is a third of all the goals United have conceded.
And this is the thing. He didn't have to touch. Look at the Mo Salah one, right? You get beat at your front post by a striker. It's an error. It's not a direct error.
I don't think that's exactly how the stats gone down. I think it's more just him either misplacing a pass or him being... I don't know how...
Like, there's no stat that will say you was in the wrong position. Like, because when Salah gets ahead of you, you're in the wrong position, but there's no stat that tells you that.
Because people will kind of counter that argument saying, realistically, for a majority of the goals you concede, the errors are going to be from your defenders because it's the last line of defence.
Of course.
But that's why there's a heightened pressure for you to not commit those errors. But if you are,
you're
working against the team.
The egregious one, in my opinion, you guys can agree or disagree. Get involved in the comments. We'll read some of these out. You can agree or disagree on this. I had a look at the J. Rodriguez goal. Now, what Maguire said was, didn't want to make a challenge, I was last man. So he consciously decided not to tackle. Now, Luke Shaw tries and slides in. And he ain't my favourite guy in the world.
Yeah.
But Luke Shaw tried to block it.
On the right side of the penalty box from left back.
Harry Maguire, half a yard quicker, takes that ball off J. Rodriguez, no problem. Doesn't even need to go to ground. He can probably get his body in the way. Now, he isn't half a yard quicker, but Jay Rodriguez's touch takes it towards Maguire. The ball is on Maguire's side. If he dives, I think he gets a toe to it and kicks it away and probably gives a corner away. It's the sheer fact that he chose to not fucking challenge that ball. And all the people in the comments that'll be saying, well, and defending what he said, because what he said wasn't inherently wrong in terms of the forwards should have been more clinical. They should. But you're wearing the armband. You give the goal away. You give the goal away with shockingly bad straight-up defending. Like, we do analysis, don't we, right, with Paddock. I shown someone of our players doing that and bollocked one of our players. There's 13 levels different, and these guys pay subs. I shouldn't be seeing the same fucking errors from £80 million internationals.
You've seen on Saturday. In Saturday League.
Do you know what I mean?
But I know it's exactly what you said.
If I can say to it was Oatsy, sorry, right? If I can say to Oatsy, like, you can't get on the wrong side there. You got to hold your position and allow someone coming from the other side. It was the exact same thing, and I said, this is fucking unacceptable from here. Harry Maguire gets turned the exact same fucking way. We're level 13.
Do you know when you watch him? Yeah, because when I looked at the goal as well, there was so many things wrong. It was like, he takes an initial, when Weghorst receives, he takes an initial step away for some reason. So then he gets to Weghorst late. He then gets turned. I don't know how he gets turned. He ends up not tackling Weghorst, but then tackling McTominay. And then his recovery run. It's like he's running in treacle. I actually didn't know.
And he's capable of actually putting a challenge in. That's how.
Do you think he gave up a little bit on the
yeah, he
recovery?
did, yeah. And he even sort of says it. He goes, I thought I'm last man, I can't make a challenge. Fuck that noise. Make the challenge. Try to just hit the ball and get no man. And if you get a bit of man and he gives a free kick or a penalty away, well, at least you tried. Don't just not fucking try. We can never forgive no fucking trying. Weghorst did do well. He did look like a bit of an handful. But at the end of the fucking day, man.
Nah, man, I don't know, because we thought that Maguire, physically coming up against Weghorst, that's his MO, that's his game. Like,
something he won quite a few aerials against him.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas
he's good at that.
I didn't expect him to be outpaced by a 6'6" forward. If I'm honest, I didn't really expect that. He's a little bit more agile. I don't know. It's just the way he turns, and we kind of. The main reason we got a Varane, and we was looking at centre half partners for Maguire to be kind of that ilk of being quick, being athletic, was because Maguire lacks in those areas. And even when we do have a run, he's still creating them errors and he's still causing goals against us. So I don't know what the kind of end game is, because it's a huge sample size we've got now of performances from Maguire since we've signed him. And he's not lived up to even half his price tag.
No.
And that's...
If he was 40 million, he'd still be a little bit miffed.
Exactly, especially when we've mentioned it countless times. And that actually shows how bad he's been, because we've had to speak about this time and time again. We expected him to have a similar impact as someone who had a similar price with a similar type of transfer, and that is Virgil van Dijk, right?
We did.
72 million from Southampton into Premier League signing. We thought he's the answer. And he's
similar
he's
price,
not,
similar circumstances.
Yeah.
Similar team in sort of a little bit of flux, showing a bit of promise. Vastly different result. And here's the thing, I don't want to be a history revisionist here. He was looking like a solid signing, not a magic one, not the Van Dijk effect, but solid. Yeah. And you was hoping there'd be a kicking on from there, and then it never kicked on.
It's not, because I don't think defensively we've been great ever since he signed, and that's an issue. We saw the amount of goals we conceded in the league. The amount of goals we conceded in the league already, and the season's not over, won't win you a title.
Peter Kelly on Super Chat there, he says, you're taught at a young age to get goal side of the attack. The Maguire lets the attacker goal side every time. It's baffling how bad he is. This is it. This isn't some fucking high-level black belt defending level shit.
Yeah.
This is the stuff 7-year-olds are told.
Exactly. And Kieran Newbury says we conceded 8 and 12. That's not bad. Look at the teams that we faced in the last 12 games.
Well, the last 2 games, we faced 2 championship teams and didn't keep a clean sheet.
Look at the teams that we played against in the last 12. If United are basically expected to compete how we were meant to compete higher up the table going into the season, you shouldn't be conceding even about 4 and 12 against them.
Zayn Takwa here says, how about we talk about Zakaria? He scored the other day, you prat. Why am I a prat for that? All I said was, I don't think he's much better than McTominay. That's a straight up opinion, and it's probably the correct opinion. Him scoring don't mean fuck all. So what, he scored?
When I saw that goal go in when he scored, I was like, can we imagine about that? Because they weren't a massive thingy for him, and it weren't a massive market for him being at that lower price. He was good as he was.
I think he's a solid player, but like, you know, this board works. We need more than solid players. We don't need to buy more squad players. You need players that can jump into the first 11.
That's what we wanted to go away from lateral moves. That's what we've been speaking about. We thought
we are that Liverpool team that was in purgatory for years, signing
that's what I'm worried about.
Randoms like fucking Patrick Berger and fucking Pongo
and Ryan Babel.
Yeah, literally, we're signing those players, man. This is what we're in, and you've got to break that, and you've got to go and find those top draw footballers. They're out there.
But that's the issue, though. We don't get top 4 because we drop in points like we did yesterday against bottom of the league, Burnley. Yeah. What are the repercussions in the summer if we don't get top 4?
I think we can survive the odd season in and out.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to make the step up, though. Do you know what I mean, in terms of the players you keep? We've had Ronaldo for a season.
We need that consistency in the Champions League because it's a better standard of opposition, which prepares you for better standards of opposition.
Yeah.
There is something funky. Now, logically, Wednesday, Saturday is identical to Thursday, Sunday. It's identical. And for the players' lives, it should be identical because you got to think most of them are like, they've got nannies and help and all the rest of that sort of stuff. It should be identical, but there's clearly something that breaks the routine. I don't know whether it's the fact that your opposition now get an extra 24 hours to prepare for you, where they would have been playing you on the Saturday. The fact that they're playing you on the Sunday, does it help them?
Yeah.
Is that the difference? Where you're playing midweek and they're having that, does that extra 24 hours mean that the opposition are more prepared for you, making it a harder game?
Isn't that what a lot of people were saying about Arsenal when they had that amazing run earlier in the season, that they were benefiting from the fact they had no European football?
Yeah, you do.
They had that full week, because you mentioned it about Conte's when he was at Chelsea. When you've got that full week, every week, preparing for the weekend, obviously you've got players that are less fatigued, you've got less strain on the players itself. Less injury risk. But
less travel. So
still, you'd rather have that problem than not have it, though, being in the Champions League.
Well, of course, yeah, because you're aiming. The thing is, right, if you're not pushing for the Champions League, you're in that purgatory of the 2 shittest competitions the world's ever created, in the Europa League and the Europa Conference. Fuck that shit, right? The Europa Conference especially. Fuck that shit. You're playing against made-up teams. Like, honestly, it's like you've just fucking bought Pro Evo again. You're like, who are these? Fucking, what they called again? If you're in the Europa League or the Europa Conference, your team isn't good enough to compete for the Premier League. Anyway, now you've got the added travel, nightmares, blah, 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 that you've got of being in Europa League. And there is massive complications when it comes to sleep. It's a one night thing. 2 nights away, it can be all sorts of chaos. You can have one bad night's sleep and be fine. Most players, when they go away, do not sleep. When Rooney famously used to take his pillow out away with him, they try and have as much home comforts as possible because it's called hotel syndrome or something like that. It's something very real. How you don't really sleep the first night in somewhere new.
You're talking about the fact that you could be in Cyprus on Thursday, travelling back on the Friday.
You've got time zone differences, you've got the travel differences, you've got, and they're paid well. Okay, yeah, you are paid well, and that's why you hope that they have, good massages and good treatment and excellent nutrition and all the rest of the things that come with that. But they are still human at the end of the day. And when you're talking about the extremely fine margins, and some people don't want to admit these things or are just too dumb to understand how close high-level sport is and how, we'll go, like we're saying here, Harry Maguire is shit. He just isn't good enough for Manchester United.
He's not good enough for Manchester United.
But he'd probably go to West Ham and be fine. Not amazing. But fine, playing in a David Moyes team that doesn't want to have the ball, is very narrow, very compact, probably look great.
But we're just confirming the fact that he's just not an £80 million defender.
Yeah.
Inflation or not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? English tax, all sorts. But
Oh,
what was the
Mike
video?
Smith says, Steve, United's top 3 worst signings ever. Sanchez, Maguire, Di Maria.
Has this vid stopped? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing we can do about it.
Okay. Alexis Sanchez, Harry Maguire. Di Maria's another one though. 60 mil. 60 mil he cost just for one season and dip.
What about Lukaku? We didn't lose on him. We made money on him, didn't we?
Nah, it's more about the fact that it's the price that we're referring to, innit? But when I'm talking about how United are going to struggle and feel the repercussions if we don't finish in the top 4 because we're dropping points against teams that we shouldn't, it's the fact that if you're looking at it,
has Ronaldo scored in 2022? He scored 2 weeks ago, didn't he?
I think he's gone for a while. He's on his biggest drought anyway. We've not. Who do we sign in the summer though?
Scroll them comments up again. There was a message I saw just then. I'm not going to go. That one, that's it. So LJ says, why has our warm-up not changed? I was at the game against Burnley and actually impressed me in their warm-up routine. Ours just seems to be a few stretches and shooting practice, ironically. I hate, my thoughts on this, I think, don't you, anyway? I hate United's shooting routine.
You're talking about before the game, though?
Yeah, I am,
Go on.
United's shooting routine, I've filmed it a couple of times to sort of show because it's laughable. They're shooting with no defenders, not even a mannequin. That's a mad one to me, that. If you're trying to replicate game situation, and I know it's probably just to let the lads have a bit of a feel of a shot, but if you're trying to replicate game situation, let's have a mannequin, let's have a defender, let's have a coach, someone stand in the bleeding way. Like, don't just... At what point in the game, unless you're Andreas Pereira, are you just hitting one from 28 yard away? You're not.
No.
And the fucking wildness
Unopposed.
of some of these shooting is bonkers. And it's it doesn't prepare you. I would rather see a pattern of play that works the ball into the box, maybe looks for a cutback or something like that. Like, it's fucking terrible. We do, and I'm not saying that we're better than United, but it's more varied what we do. We do a muscle activation, which is about 10 or 15 minutes with a sports scientist. And that's your dynamic stretching, then your individual stretching, pulse raises, few sprints, that sort of stuff. That's quite a generic thing that you literally need to have in your warm-up. From there, we go to a possession box, which I stole off Liverpool. We used to do a regular possession box with 3 colours, and we would rotate through the colours. Now what we do is the subs stay on the outside as bounce passes. I have one centre-half at each side because that kind of mimics what the centre-half's doing, sort of looking at the bigger picture. So you play from one centre-half to the other centre-half. And then I have my midfield with my defensive fullback because we have one defensive and one offensive fullback. And then my attack with my offensive fullback because they're units that press together. And the attack will play the midfield with a fullback each, and then they're playing to the centre-halves with bounce passes either side. And we look for match intensity and match pace. Now, the narrowness and the compactness of it makes it a lot harder than what you would do on the pitch. But we do that, and we do that for 10, 12 minutes. And that's intense. We used to do a 4-ball drill, which would be just drilling the defence, looking at high balls coming in. But we don't usually do that one no more. And we've lately done a couple of up, back and throughs around mannequins for shots inside the box, if we're at home, because we've got the mannequins. So we're doing that this week. When you look at what United do, there's been like 7-on-2 rondo. Pretty
in a circle.
Static.
I know what you're talking about because you get to the game early, so you can basically see all they do before the game, and it's not really much strategy to it. No. Especially when it's like some do the shooting, some don't.
Let's have a look at the comment.
It's if you can be arsed, if you can't be arsed.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of structure or intensity.
I got a bit of PTSD from it all because I feel like I remember I've pulled a quad before doing a shooting drill.
Yeah,
like
you do,
that.
yeah.
But that was the Friday. We played on a Saturday. It was at the end of the session, and I pulled my quad and couldn't play the next day. And I've always thought, because you got some people train and warm up differently. You get some people that aren't going through their stretches properly, kind of tossing it off. They're more getting into that mental preparation for the game. And then you go and do a shooting drill, lashing balls at, 20, 25 yards, and then something tweaks, and then what? You're out of the game.
You got to get
surprised
your
it happen more often
with proper dynamics that finish with with sprinting. You have to go 100% in the warm up. You got to know you can go 100% mentally, I think.
Yeah.
Then what we do with the possession box is we're getting you used to the physical contact and the speed and the decision making of it just crashing around you. And then if we've come out a little bit early, like because we've gone out a bit early sometimes, we'll do that finishing drill, but it's got to involve a couple of intricate passes, maybe exploding beyond a certain line and then having a shot under pressure or mannequins. You can't just... So what United do? They do that rondo 7v2, which most of the players, apart from the two guys pressing, are stood still. They're stood still, and it's just a tap to the left, tap to the right. It's so slow paced, so just fucking lazy almost. We do the activations in a corner in a 10-meter square. Going through, opening the gate, closing the gate, heel flicks, bounds, that sort of stuff. Your dynamic stretch routine. And then it seems to just sort of disintegrate into, there's no passing, there's no contact, there's nothing with any sort of
Is the part of you that thinks we're just basing this off a pre-match thing? Because, it's not, we don't necessarily know what they're doing behind closed doors throughout the week.
No, but I also watch our opposition. I watch what City do, I watch what Liverpool do, watch what Chelsea do. Watch what anyone, if I can get in there early enough to have a chance to see what the opposition are doing. I'm always interested.
Yeah.
You know what you like as a coach? The best coaches rob everything. I'm fucking stealing this. That. Like I said, I've robbed our possession box from Liverpool. We literally do Liverpool's possession box. The finishing drill is a City one. There's fucking nothing United do in a warm-up I would do. Nothing.
I don't know.
How bad's that, though?
Do you think that's part of why, United have had issues over the years? I think past 18 months especially. I think there was a period where it was proper bad under Ole, where first 20 minutes United were asleep pretty much week in, week out. And it's not changing because I feel like when you start fast, you can actually kill off games pretty early and then you make the rest of the game easy for you. I think United have a really, really... you know what they're talented at? Making games really difficult. Making ones that shouldn't be tense affairs. And last night... You saw the second half, didn't you? Much of the second half, Burnley were actually a lot more threatening than we were. Because people speak about the fact we've got, 70 shots in the last 3 games and only scored 3 goals. How many of those are actually gilt-edged chances? I know that a few are that have been missed quite badly. But a lot of it's hit and hope, people lashing at things, people taking a touch half a yard too far. And we spoke about Maguire in the defence. Right, and the mistakes. The issue is they're actually not even allowed to make mistakes because we're not being clinical enough going forward.
We only had an XG of 1.9 yesterday, though. So it wasn't it wasn't even out of 22 shots, 19 on target or something.
No, I don't think it was 19.
It wasn't 19.
No, it was 19 on target. It was 22 shots. 1 point.
1.9.
We only had half more than Burnley in terms of XG, and they had a lot less shots.
Yeah.
So it's.
You're talking about being clinical at one end. You got to be clinical at both ends. The margins are razor. There's nothing in the margins. It's so fucking tight, and you have to be clinical. That's why people pay £80 million for you. Usually, they're expecting you to come in. Like, no one's saying you're not allowed to ever make a mistake again, but when they're repeated and constant, people are going to lose their shit.
Exactly, it's the balance thing as well, isn't it? It's like United forwards feel pressure to score more because you can't trust us keeping a clean sheet with Harry Maguire at the back. And then Harry Maguire probably feels pressure not to concede because we're not actually firing up front. But I'm not even going to make excuses for Maguire because he does a pretty good job of doing that for himself. And obviously, speaking about his performance, and we have touched on what he says in interviews, I just don't like the kind of energy he gives off. He just gives nothing that suggests leader, someone I'd want to go into battle with. He's a bit of a kid. I feel like if I was playing football and went out with Harry Maguire and he speaks to me, I just come across fake. You'd feel like he's someone that'd throw you under the bus.
Well, he did it last night.
Do you know what I mean? He's a bit of a... I called it... On Twitter, I called his post-match interviews gaslighting. I think that's the perfect word for it. I think he has very subtle psychological ways of little stuff that he says where he's just suggesting, don't look at me, other people could have done better.
Well, he said it 3 times.
He's a prime blame deflector. He never
3 times he was like, we created so many chances, we've got to be clinical. At what point, though, do you come out as a captain and say, listen, team performance was all right, I made a mistake. I'll be better. And that's my whole problem. My whole thing about Harry Maguire is, again, doesn't matter necessarily if you say it or not. But I don't believe that that's what you're thinking. I have to at least believe you're thinking it. Do you know what I mean? If you come out and are fuming, he could have been fuming last night. You're allowed to be upset, and I expect you to be upset. But there almost has to be like at least the impression that you're like, yeah, look, the lads could have done better up front, but ultimately we were ahead in the game. If we don't concede, we win the game, and we conceded because of me. I'll fix that, and I'll be better next week. Do you know how much better you would feel? And Joe, a lot of your teammates, when you come back into the dressing room, be like, well done, appreciate that, or top man. And then your teammates want to help you out. Do you see how it feeds into one another?
There's none of that camaraderie and cohesion in this team anyway. Obviously, had the Luke Shaw interview incident. We've got the Ragnick Lingard difference in statements thing. And then you've got Maguire blame deflecting all the time in interviews. It's just not in... Like, I don't know, it's just the kind of the energy and the culture there is just not right, is it? And it kind of projects onto the pitch and the performances. It goes a lot deeper than what's actually been shown on the pitch. And I think it starts with also making an underperformer in Maguire captain. I don't know what decision that was. I think there was better options to make captain than him. As what is it?
There was a lack of options.
Yeah, what is it? Because what is it that Cam just said to us before?
Cam just said he was captain only 3 times prior to becoming Manchester United captain.
So he was captain 3 times before he was made United's captain.
One was Leicester in the EFL Cup because Morgan and Schmeichel weren't playing.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were at Hull.
And we also was told
by
Will, who was a Hull fan, he literally said that there was a large parts of his whole tenure, Harry Maguire, where he was third choice centre back, where he was benching. It's mad.
Honestly, Leicester must have been laughing their dicks off at us.
Yeah.
Can we not do them under the Trade Description Act? You can't spend 80 million on this and then just think, yeah, that's all right. The problem is, because of who our board are and who our owners are, he's going to be here 10 years. Just roll with it.
It's because you feel like because you paid that much price for him, you got to make up for it in some form of way. Rather than owning up the fact that we made an error, Harry Maguire's not it. We need to go elsewhere. There's a lot of good centre backs around Europe at the moment, younger as well, more accustomed to the game we want to play.
Yeah.
But the fact that we've paid so much for him and you've made him the captain, I feel like United are going to be hesitant to kind of strip that away from him and get rid of him, because it's going to basically be admitting a mistake. And our club doesn't like doing that.
I think it's time to talk about today's sponsor, Ronnie.
Oh, which one?
It's Manscaped.
Don't
Who
balls.
sponsors the XG.
Don't
so
balls it
you
up.
should know that. I'm not going to balls it up, because Manscaped don't balls it up. Now, Cupid works hard in February. You got yourself a little Valentine's date lined up? It's for the single people, Valentine's, not for the married
I've got
people.
absolutely no Valentine's, mate.
No Valentine's?
No, I'm not loved.
Not loved? Been all over the dating apps, trying?
Not loved, but what I do love is myself, so
Okay.
self-love will be
Self-love.
shaving my balls.
Oh, right,
In
okay.
case I get lucky.
Thought you was going to rip yourself around your room. All right. So, you're shaving your balls. I'm going to ask you what product are you using to shave your balls, because you're not just going to use, like, any old scissors that you see lying about.
Manscaped.
Manscaped.
Always.
So. 4.0.
4.0. Top tier.
4.0. They got a performance package, and they got an exclusive offer, right? And when we say exclusive, listen to me, we're talking exclusive. You have not seen any other podcast in the world, and certainly not every podcast that you've ever seen, that's got a Manscaped sponsorship. We know we're unique, and we know it's because we're the best podcast out there. So support the podcast and get your balls boxed off in time for Valentine's Day by going to manscaped.com, use the code XG20. You'll get 20% off and you'll get free shipping. And like I always say to you, if it's not for self-love like Ronnie's going to do in the next couple of weeks, just have it as emergency presents. Because if you've just got emergency presents all stacked up, someone's going to come in and go, "Oi, what are you going to do about Uncle Phil's birthday?" Go, "Do you think I'd forget about Uncle Phil's birthday? Fucking bosh."
And before you know it, it's Father's Day.
Yep.
Got them stacked and ready.
There's always someone who needs a present, right? And literally, what do you buy the person that's got everything? My dad looks like a fucking gorilla, right? He's getting Manscaped. Don't you worry about that.
Your dad looks like a gorilla.
A gorilla.
Looks like Ragnick.
What's going on with that? Telly's broke. Anyway. XG20, 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. It's an exclusive offer, exclusive to this podcast. No other podcast can even give you an offer. And if you think they can, you're lying, right? But yeah, my old man's got he probably needs a number 4 on his back. It's hairy. He's a hairy fella. He does look like Ragnick. Like if Ragnick was as part of Planet of the Apes, that's what he looks like. So
Caesar.
Yeah, so he's definitely going to be getting himself a Manscaped. That's it. What do you buy the guy who's got everything? I don't know, something to do with his fucking nutsack, I guess. In the Manscaped thing as well, you're not just going to get a ball trimmer. They do ball toner. They do ball deodorant. They do some little boxer shorts, which are absolutely belting for the gym, by the way. Just like super comfortable, super soft, and just anti-chafing. Just exactly what you want in it. It's Valentine's Day. Get your shit sorted out. You know you need to. Happy? I know where it is. You're on the wire. I don't know if you need to fuck about with that at the bottom, but yeah, manscaped.com, XG20, 20% off, and hopefully Ronaldo doesn't sit on the wire again like he's just done an absolutely killer screen.
I doubt that was actually the reason, you know.
I mean, let's be honest, it might have been.
Maybe.
Why the dude's in that one anyway.
Nah,
I bought something else for it.
Wires need to be better assorted, don't they?
Right, show me the comments, please. Let's have a look at what's going on over in comment land. That telly's going to go off as well unless you press a button on it. Did Steve just call Ragnick a gorilla? No, my dad. There's a difference.
They're not switched.
Like Ragnick. My dad, literally, it was him that told us, your dad looks like Ragnick, and he does. There's no denying it, is there? Like the same glasses and everything. They look related, if not identical. And my dad's just a fucking hairier version of him, like a gorilla.
Factually, I actually missed it. I didn't see quite what.
Nothing more romantic on Valentine's Day, says Notch, than telling your partner that you're anti-chafed. Got to keep it smooth, our kid. Check this: Leicester made more on the Maguire sale than they did for winning the Premier League. Oh, and I bet they were
so
probably happier.
Business that. Now, but the thing is, signings like that are one of them where it's like. It's part of the reason why United are going to have to feel the effects of that in transfer windows for 5 to 10 years. Do you know why?
Because we've got shit owners.
Because we've got owners where other businessmen, because that's what they are, they're going to look at United and think they can get fleeced. Got United tax anyway. They know that we'll pay over the odds.
You got United tax, you got English tax, you got buying from another Premier League club tax. That's why fucking Wan-Bissaka's 50 million.
Do you think when we negotiate, we go to clubs in the summer looking for a new centre-half? They're going to up the price. United are going to be like, what are you talking about? They're going to be like, you paid 80 million for Harry Maguire. He's better than Harry Maguire. That's exactly
the whole problem.
That's exactly what they're going to say.
It was like when we had Sanchez and players are coming in going, I want $1 million a week. And they're going, $1 million a week? You go, you're paying him $500,000 a week and he's shit. All right, you got a point. That's why Ashley Young had the balls to walk in and ask for a wanna. He's like, I'm at least 25% as good as him. Fucking hell.
That's literally how these kind of negotiations work as well.
Chris says stupid tax also for purchasing Maguire. I can't disagree with that one.
Oh, that's great. It's a great time.
Yeah, someone's
Calamity Central.
Someone's drilling in here. That's nice. We're signing Harry or Grealish. Ooh, that's interesting.
But you know what you said about the Grealish and the City thing? He's going to get time to turn that around.
He will, yeah. And that's the difference.
And then he'll come next season and he'll score like a goal a game, probably.
We paid 46 million for Bruno, so shut up. What does that have to do with anything?
What does that mean?
I mean, it's factual what you said, but...
So you're telling me that...
What's your point?
Bruno and
Can Maguire he play centre-half?
Have had the same impact since arriving. Jesus.
The problem, like you said, is I think the way United negotiated with Leicester is I think we phoned them up and was like, hello, is that Leicester City? This is Manchester United, second biggest team in Manchester. Can we sign Harry Maguire? We've got 80 million to spend. How much do you want? And they went, 80 million. And we went, we'll pay 50 and not a penny more. You just told us you'd pay 80. Oh, fuck, we did, yeah. Okay, well, we'll pay you 50 and not a penny more. And then we say that, until we crumble 2 weeks before the end of the window and pay what they asked for in the first place.
Yeah, fair enough. And Red Lad keeps asking me, what's your favourite Metallica song?
I think it's because you're wearing a Metallica hoodie, and we've already established it's for the look. You don't have a fucking clue in Metallica.
I could not name one Metallica song.
I think I can name two.
I can't name one Metallica song, but they make really
Kids
nice.
are all right.
They make really nice.
Kids aren't all right. I can't remember which way around it is.
Careful.
It's a good gym song. What?
Anyway.
It's a good song for the gym.
Nah, it's just good, isn't it? They make
And
good ones.
Enter Sandman. Enter Sandman's an absolute fucking monstrous deadlifting tune. Dark.
It's just a heavy metal rate, ain't really.
It is, and you need that for your deadlifting. You can do your bicep curls with whoever the fuck you want, Drake or something. I don't care.
I'm actually on the flip side of that. I'm actually a bit of a no music, no in my ears gymmer.
What? You an absolute savage.
I am a savage, yeah.
How do you have no music in the gym?
I've got into this thing where I feel like I get into a zone better when I'm actually not got the music that I usually listen to in my ears.
Wow.
It's weird.
Oh, it's Offspring apparently. Yeah, Offspring, man. Sorry. But yeah.
So that Offspring, that's quite far from
Offspring's the
music.
Kids Are Alright one. It's Metallica with Enter Sandman though. I know that.
Jeez, he said fair play, mate. I thought he already... I feel like they could tell that I actually don't listen to Metallica.
You got about 4 Metallica hoodies, haven't you? This is a shit dad joke that Jay has with him every day.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that Dad... not Dad. Just call Jay Dad now. Jesus.
He's old enough.
Just about. Could have been a young dad.
He's old enough.
Yeah. Been younger dads, probably.
Enter Sandman sounds like you'll get a sore willy. Just play it. Play it and I guarantee you just feel like lifting heavy shit. That's the top and bottom
Someone
of it.
said Falcao.
Falcao was pretty bad, wasn't
Do people not remember Falcao was only on loan?
he? Yeah.
So I don't think he factors in. He's only a loan. I think Di Maria is the only one that's comparable. People say Sanchez, but Di Maria cost 60 mil.
Daniel Kirk there with a good super chat. He says successful defensive actions per 90. Baye with 10.3, Varane with 9.72, Lindelof with 7.79, Maguire with 6.63.
That wouldn't surprise me, but counter argument to that is, do you know if you look on FB Ref, I think his stats defensively aren't great either.
What's going on with this?
Oh yeah, it actually is me because I lifted up and it stopped.
Sit on your chair.
Nah, it just flickered then.
Just sit on your chair. Let's see what happens. It did flicker then. Move around a little.
I'm not even on any wires here.
Just move around a little bit. Just do my head in.
That's nothing to do with me.
All right. Jesus, right.
Looking to blame me. What that?
1 billion more, please, says Sexy Saturn 888. Pereira going for Mengo. That looks like it's happened, doesn't it?
It looks like it's happened. Apparently he's done all right out there. But I don't know. It's one of them. Pereira. Wow. Seen some terrible things from him. Yeah, you know.
Eric Bays fucked it here, hasn't he? Because he really had...
I think if Eric Bailly was able to be fit, I think he could have had a much more of a push. People criticise Lindelof as well, and Lindelof probably isn't the answer in long term, but I think he's been a lot steadier than Maguire has been this season. And that is the issue. And the question is, where are we going from here, though, realistically? Because I feel like I'm actually extremely concerned about what happens if we don't finish top 4. Ronaldo's gone. Cavani's probably gone.
Ronaldo's not contractually not allowed to hear the Europa League music. You don't have a clue
Yeah,
what it sounds
Pogba's
like.
gone. But then you think of it, we have Ronaldo for one season. We don't make the Champions. We don't make top 4. We don't win anything. People are going to look back on that sign as a bit of a failure, because people are going to say other young forwards could have played more. Has he kind of set us back 1 year in their development? There's an argument for that. But I'm not putting all the blame on him, but it's just a question to be had. Because at the end of the day, he's a 37-year-old man.
NT says, remember when Phil Neville said Zaha wasn't a United player? He still isn't.
Yeah, no, he isn't. I wonder if... I remember seeing the comparisons with the statistics between when Ibra was 37 at United and Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I think we underestimated how good Ibra was.
Ibra was class. You see him doing sit-ups on the punching bag the other day.
Yeah,
Guy's insane.
He's similar to Ronaldo in terms of physically just being like he don't age, like he drinks kids' bloods.
Can we throw an allegedly in there?
Allegedly. Probably not allegedly though. Research it.
You don't get to say probably not allegedly if you say allegedly. The allegedly there's to protect you, Ronaldo.
If you preface stuff with allegedly, respectfully, or no offence,
that's not how it works.
you can say what you want after.
Can't be like, no offence, Zlatan drinks kids' blood. No, that's libelous. You can't say that.
Get done for defamation.
We never should have re-signed Ronnie. At the end of the day, we did need a striker because as much as we all are in absolute love, and we can't deny it, with the King of Uruguay, he's not been available. He's just not been available. And what he's telling me, the answer was Tony Marshall. I'll tell you the fucking questions, who's not the answer.
Yeah, I'm talking about that adrenochrome, mate. Exactly. Glad you know as well, Eski, Mamoru. He knows.
Oh, Maguire just... he's going to come in for a hell of a lot of abuse.
But what I was going to actually ask you next, though,
go on,
keeping on the topic of Maguire, but just in general United, is do you genuinely believe, I'm going to ask you, do United finish top 4 this season?
I don't think so. I don't think it was done last night.
You think
we needed those?
You think top 4 is genuinely gone?
Yeah.
Who do you think finishes 4th instead? And if you say Arsenal, I'm going to hit you.
It's not going to be Arsenal. Definitely going to be Arsenal. I think West Ham could, but I think Spurs now. Now I was going to say Maguire then, but it's Harry Kane. Now Harry Kane is scoring again. That might put him over the line. Goals mean prizes, don't they?
Yeah. All right. Tottenham, no. People are going to come for your neck if Tottenham finish 4th.
My fucking fault. The problem was that Mourinho had fucking lost his mind, and
can't believe
they have a good squad. Son's a baller. They've got some serious players in that team. It's one of them, innit? Why is this telly going mental?
Yeah, I've literally lifted up now as well. See, it's not even me.
Given recent events, I think Ronaldo has set any striker back in development. No, I don't think so either. United are playing tonight, the under-18s at the FA Youth Cup. Charlie McNeil. In fact, if I'm a youngster at United at the moment, with who's just currently as interim in charge, and knowing that he's probably going to be around for a couple of years in the background at least, I think it's a good time to be a United youngster. Any of the lads that are on the fringes, from Ghana, Levitt, Mengi, all of these lads now should be rubbing their fucking hands together, saying, "There's a chance here for me now."
That's the issue though, because it's harder. If you're not basically a prodigy, it's hard to make that breakthrough.
Yeah, you got to go.
You got to land making hard. You got to go above and beyond it, because as a youngster going through a big club, unless you're levels, United can just dip in the transfer market and buy someone instead for 30 million to play. That's why it's harder for youngsters to make it at that level.
Yeah, a lot harder. Spurs have a lot of games in hand. Not sure they will make it.
You'd
rather have the points in the bag than the games in hand, but they've got 3 games in hand. That's 9 potential points. I think there are only 3 offers.
Yeah, I think
they can afford to fuck this and still be above us.
I think they've got 2 games in hand on Arsenal as well. I think they're just games in hand FC, but they're not. It's not points on the board, is it?
No.
They're playing Southampton tonight, which isn't going to be a shoo-in. Southampton have been pretty awkward for everyone this season.
That's going to be. I expect a full fucking 0-0 in, unless. Because Rangnick kind of knows Howson, he knows how he's going to play and has the antidote. Yeah. That could be a fucking bore fest on Saturday.
Yeah, because Saturday.
We play Southampton.
Yeah, no, it's going to be... Oh, yeah, it's at 12:30 as well, 12:30 kickoff.
Yep.
I don't think we do pretty well in them, but...
Nope. I've got to go and try and bail 5 minutes before because Panic have got a fucking...
Yeah, I'm not confident.
Title-defining game at 3 o'clock.
Not confident about Southampton, no. Not confident at all about that.
Righty then. I'm going to call it a day there. Cheers, Ronnie. Cheers to Manscaped. As we said, it's Valentine's week. You need to get your shit boxed off and you need to get it shaved and trimmed and all nice and ready if you want someone to touch it on Valentine's Day. So, manscaped.com. XG20, get 20% off. There's all sorts that comes into the box. It's well worth doing, so make sure to go and check it out, and we'll see you in the next one. Laters.
Identifies as someone that's 7.
Yeah, identifies as a lazy person.
You leave it?
I've been here since like 8 this morning.
It's a to 5 job, you.
Someone who gets in half an hour late every day.
Not very punctual.
So I mean, you've never got married?
Who was the vicar, Joe? Who married them, Joe? That's the first 2 people!
So hang on,
They can't do anything as a throuple!
No, they could have had a kid, made that kid become a vicar, and then made that vicar marry them.
That's sex before marriage, though. Can't do that. Go to hell.
No,
Because wasn't Eve made from Adam's rib?
What?
Right, so
We got a problem here, Cal.
I don't mind pineapple, so I'm all good.
Pineapple on pizza? No way, no how, no chance. Pineapple should not be on a pizza.
Why is it bad to call United Man U? How do you have the inside scoop on United info? Do I support any other teams other than Man United? The fuck I do.